Kamen Rider Black Sun is a perfect example of how not to do a reboot. Everything from the pretentious rewrites, to the disappointing action, and even relegating the titular main character, whose name is the title of the frickin' show, and turning him into a glorified side character is unforgivable. This is exactly what happens when you give a series into the hands of people who have no idea what they're doing or what made people love it to begin with. Taking the simple but effective story of a dude in a bug costume fighting against the evils of mutant cyborgs in order to save the world, and turning it into a story about the evils of racial prejudice is just the kind of stupid I would expect from modern Hollywood and not a Kamen Rider story. And before all you fanboys start typing away in the comment section about how wrong I am, do not forget, the core appeal of tokusatsu, whether it's Kamen Rider to Garo to frickin' Power Rangers, has always been this. Dudes in goofy costumes beating the crap out of each other. And yeah, I know, there's all the different themes and context of each different series, yada yada yada, I get that. But did we really need to turn Gorgum into the frickin' Black Panthers? And no, not the Marvel kind. I mean, come on, it's bad enough they're making animal-themed super soldiers and turning people into nutrient paste. Did we really need all the political BS to go along with it? Back to my point, the fight scenes for a Kamen Rider series, I have to say, was kind of a letdown. Sure, it's a bit more on the violent side than you would see from anything from the TV series, but compared to something like Kamen Rider Amazons, I gotta say, the choreographers were really holding back. And I know they're going for the grittier, more realistic tone and all that, but come on, man, this is tokusatsu. When someone does a rider kick and doesn't fucking explode into a billion pieces, you're doing something wrong. And while yes, the final fight between Black Sun and Shadow Moon is definitely the best action piece in the show, that's really not saying much. It could have been a lot better. For one thing, the final encounter is just way too short. You expect something like the Battle of Heroes or Revenge of the Sith, but what we get is something that isn't much longer than a single fight scene in any singular episode of Kamen Rider. And while, yeah, the suit actors are doing the best job they can, something just feels like it's missing, man. And I think the cause of that is the fact that the story, despite being 10 episodes long, each one rating from 40 minutes to an hour, none of it actually focuses on Black Sun as a character. Instead, it's usually focused more on the rival character, Shadow Moon, or any of the other side characters that seem to have more importance in the plot than the actual character whose name is the title of the show. I can never get over that. And boy, the fact in the final episode he's getting replaced by this random teenage girl who was made up just for their show, that really rubbed me the wrong way. I am sick and tired of reboots pulling this kind of shit. And the thing just really makes this situation frustrating is that Kamen Rider as a series has done these gritty reboots for the Showa-era shows right before. The first season of Kamen Rider Amazons back in, I want to say 2016, did a pretty good job of reworking the source material for a new show while still maintaining the appeal of what made Amazons interesting to begin with, and that was the violent, gory action. And no, I'm not saying that Black Sun needed to be Amazon Season 3, but what I am saying is that the changes they decided to make to the source material doesn't work for the story it originally had. And the story spends so much time around the issue of racial prejudice, which, again, I need to stress, didn't exist in the original Kamen Rider Black or Black RX, that by the end of each episode you are just begging, pleading for the story to actually feel like Kamen Rider again, only to get to the subpar action scene just due to the choreography holding back, as well as the costume designs really cheaping out. I mean, sure, the Black Sun and Shadow Moon costumes look pretty cool, but everyone else is just cheap Halloween masks and gloves and not much else. I've seen better monster costumes from the frickin' Putty Patrol than this show. Now, with all that being said, do I think Kamen Rider Black Sun is a bad show? Yes. But do I think it's a bad reboot, adaptation, or whatever you want to call it, as, say, Zack Snyder's DC Universe or anything being produced for Disney+? No, I wouldn't say it's nearly that bad. And I will say, despite all the problems I have with the writing, I did at least get some enjoyment out of it. That being said, for this being based on Kamen Rider Black, a series and character that are just as, if not more popular than even the original Kamen Rider Ichigo, this could have been a hell of a lot better. And if even after hearing all of this, if you still feel the need to watch Kamen Rider Black Sun for whatever reason, go right ahead, man, you do you, but there is a ton, and I mean a ton of much better tokusatsu out there that is much more worth your time than this. In fact, if you haven't already seen the original Kamen Rider Black and Black RX, I would recommend just starting there. You'll have a much better experience watching that than anything that this sorry excuse for a reboot has to offer.